Good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of B&K Securities, I welcome you all to 3Q FY19 post-result conference call of TVS Motor Company Limited. We are delighted to have with us today Mr. K.N. Radhakrishnan, Director and Chief Executive Officer, and Mr. K. Gopal Desikan, Group CFO. I will now transfer the call to Mr. K.N. Radhakrishnan for the opening remarks, to be followed by the question and answer session. Over to you, sir.
Good afternoon, everyone, and we are extremely happy to share the results of TVS Motor Company Q3. Revenue grew by 26%, 3,700 crores to 4,665 crores. Two-wheeler overall sales numbers grew by 19%, scooters 32%, motorcycles 20%, and moped grew by 1%. Domestic two-wheeler sales grew by 19%, exports two-wheeler grew by 19.5%. Three-wheeler sales grew by 47%. The profit before tax for the quarter is at 258 crores compared to last year's similar quarter, 210 crores. EBITDA for the quarter is at 375.7 crores compared to last year's 300.5 crores. EBITDA grew by 25%, and the EBITDA for the quarter is at 8.1%. Profit after tax is 178.4 crores compared to 154.3 crores. During Q3, this time the season was split between end of Q2 and Q3 beginning. The product range of Jupiter Grande, Apache, the new TVS Sport and TVS Star City continue to do well. Ntorq is doing extremely well. Apache RTR 164V has received very good feedback from the market. And we have also crossed 1 lakh. Both Ntorq 125 and Apache RTR 164V both have crossed 1 lakh sales in 6 months of launch. Radeon, which was launched very recently, is also doing extremely well. The product range of TVS definitely is helping us to grow faster than the industry. Exports continue to do well, and we are confident that the trend will continue in the future. Q3, the growth was lower than H1. However, we are expecting a better Q4. The overall feel in terms of growth, we will definitely continue to exceed the market growth. We have a very strong portfolio of mega brands like Apache, Star Range and Radeon and Jupiter and Ntorq. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, we will now begin the question-answer session. Anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and 1 on their touchtone telephone. If you wish to remove yourself from the question queue, you may press star and 2. Participants are requested to use handset while asking a question. Ladies and gentlemen, we will wait for a moment while the question queue assembles. Take the first question from the line of Kapil Singh from Nomura. Please go ahead.
Hi, sir. Congrats on a good set of numbers. Firstly, I wanted to check on the industry growth itself. We have noticed some slowdown in December. Industry was down 2%, I think. So, what are you picking up on the industry growth itself? Is Q4 going to be better significantly, or industry growth remains slow?
The festive season, during that time, you will remember that we had the insurance costs impacting the commuter motorcycles and everyone, including the entry level up to the premium category. In addition, we had the liquidity crisis. So both put together, we have seen the industry very muted during Q3. Given the overall scenario becoming little better in terms of the liquidity as well as the retail finance availability, we are expecting Q4 to be better.
Okay. And secondly, had actually a couple of questions on the financials. Firstly, we've seen good improvement in realization. So could you comment on that and also let us know on the pricing actions that the company has taken, both in Q3 as well as, if any, in Jan? And second question was on other income. For the 9 months this year, the other income is much lower than last year. So some thoughts on that as well.
In Q3, we have taken a price increase to the tune of 0.6%. And year to date, I think it's 0.9%. This is in the domestic. And we are also looking at, as you know, the new safety regulations are coming. So all the products are completely getting migrated to SPT and Apache series into ABS. So there is a price increase contemplated. Some we have effected, some we will be doing it now.
Okay.
On the other income, why it is lower than last year, the 9 months ended, the main reason is we had the fair valuation gain of TVS Credit Services, and post the became a subsidiary. That's not there. So it's just a notional gain included in 31/12/2017 in line with the Indian accounting standards.
So that was about 50 crores, right? Even if I...
That's around 68 crores.
Yeah. So even if I adjust for that, the other income is still lower.
No, the other one is the CST of Karnataka. That was also around 10 crores included. It's a one-time reimbursement, the incentive that was included.
Okay. Okay. So this is a steady run rate. There should be no change in this.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Hello.
Mr. Kapil Singh, does that answer your question?
Yeah, I'm done. Thank you.
Next question is from the line of Pramod Kumar from Goldman Sachs. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thanks a lot for the opportunity, sir. And my first question pertains to the ABS transition. So if you can just highlight the Apache range, which I primarily assume will be impacted by this. How much of their volumes currently are already coming in from the ABS option, and by when do you expect to have the 100% of the conversion moving to ABS? And related to that, is it going to be a single channel ABS, what are you going to pursue, or is it going to be dual channel ABS?
First of all, we are complying with all the transition what is required. Some of the products like Jupiter, Vigo, Radeon, which are all already with SBS, SBT, synchronized braking technology. With respect to Apache, we are moving on to ABS. Already the supplies, the production has started, and the supplies into the market will start.
And whether you're going to pursue single channel ABS, which is cheaper but not very effective, or you're going to go for the full...
It depends upon the customer. See, we have both single channel and dual channel. Both are available. So based on the customer liking, we'll be putting it into the market.
Okay, no, that's good to know. And sir, on the domestic inventory side, if you can provide some color as to end of December, how was the inventory situation, and where would you, is it at the ideal levels, or would you like to see some more correction in your wholesale inventory or the dealer inventory?
Our strategy is always to keep 4 to 5 weeks inventory, and we adhere to that principle. Industry looks like it may be a little higher because everyone was looking at a better Q3. There was the sudden increase of this insurance and the liquidity. Both put together, there was definitely slowness in the retail, what we could feel. However, we always look at carefully managing this inventory and looking at overall the retail.
And are the trends improving, sir, as per your, since the start of the festive season from 14th of Jan?
I think what we feel is Q4 will be better because definitely we are seeing liquidity is becoming better. Retail finance is also available a little easier now. So overall, I think the sentiments are positive. So definitely you will see a better Q4.
Okay, and finally on exports, sir, if you permit, how's the outlook on that part of the business, sir? Because oil prices have been fairly volatile, and some of these markets are fairly sensitive to oil prices and forex reserve. So how's some of the larger markets responding to this volatility? And your growth YTD has been quite significant at 34%. So how do you look at the export outlook for the remainder of the year and even for FY20, if you can share that?
Exports is stable. I think the oil prices and the currencies in most of the markets are stable. Availability of dollars is also better this year.
Okay.
So we feel that the current momentum of the industry will continue. We are also growing faster than the industry thanks to the product range what we have. So exports will be a good story this year and hopefully for next year as well.
Fair enough, sir. I'll come back in the queue. Thanks a lot. Thank you.
Thank you. Next question is from the line of Hitesh Goel from Kotak Securities. Please go ahead.
Thank you, sir, for taking my question. Sir, what is your cash balances and, investments in mutual fund? Because just want to check the yield on these cash balances.
No, we don't have investments in mutual funds. There's no surplus money for investment. We have invested for the capex for the current year.
Okay. So basically, there's because you had certain. I go to the other income schedule, you had around 180 odd crores invested last year in mutual funds, right? Okay, so that was equity shares into subsidiaries. Sorry. Okay. My second question is, sir, in the last quarter you had done some accounting change, right, in respect to the operating income, in which dealer advances were shown as part of the operating income. So what is that amount in this quarter? Because of which because if I see the Q-on-Q mix in terms of your product mix, there's not much change. In fact, if I look at Apache as a percentage of overall volumes is much lower in this quarter versus last quarter. Despite that, we've seen a 2.7% jump in your realization. So I was trying to understand.
It's not significantly different from the earlier quarter.
Yes. So why is the realization on a Q-on-Q basis up 2.7%?
Realization is improving because of better product mix, and there was also a price increase.
Exchange gain.
And there is exchange gain. So it's a combination of price increase, whatever we have done, better product mix and exchange gain.
So, sir, what is the rupee-dollar rate you realized in this quarter?
Around 31.5.
Okay. Okay, sir. Great. Thank you.
Thank you. Next question is from the line of Shyam Sundar Sriram from Sundaram Mutual Fund. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi sir. Thanks a lot for the opportunity, sir. You spoke about the ABS implementation. Approximately what quantum of price increases can we expect in the Apache range?
We are working on that. Very shortly we will announce it. The price increases in ABS, which is very important for Apache kind of a brand. All the other models we have already incorporated the SPT in the pricing.
Okay. Sir, do you think in this segment, if there is another leg of price increase that can dent demand in any way?
ABS is definitely an attractive quality which is definitely valued by the customer, especially in the premium category.
Okay.
So we are pretty confident that this will be very much appreciated by the customer.
Right, sir. Thank you. Sir, and in exports, if you can give some color on new geographies we have entered and any market share gains that we have done in the last in YTD, if you can give some color on that.
YTD, if you look at it, we have the exports we have grown by almost 30%. They has grown about 22%. And market share we have gained significantly. I think we have a good range of all the products. Most of the markets have done well thanks to the stable oil prices, and the currencies are also stable. And we are currently exporting to about 62 countries, and we are constantly evaluating opportunities and planning entry into those markets where we are not present. So this is a regular exercise.
Okay, sir. Okay. So, I mean, over the last 2 years, any key geographies that would have contributed a bulk of these gains that we are now seeing in exports, sir? Any color?
Normally what happens is it takes about 12 to 18 months, even if you enter into a new geography, for stabilizing and setting up the network and establishing. So, if you look at it, some markets in LATAM, some markets in ASEAN, we have started exporting in the last 2 years. So, these markets will grow much faster in the years to come.
Okay. Sir, just one last question, if I may squeeze. So we have been investing in this TVS Motor Singapore subsidiary. If you can give some color on what is the role of that subsidiary?
We are exploring certain investment opportunities in the new startup space, and TVS Singapore is being used for that.
Okay. Thank you, sir. That's it from my side.
Thank you. Next question is from the line of Ashish Nigam from Axis Capital. Please go ahead.
Hi, congrats on good results. My first question was on the mix. Specifically for two-wheelers, how is the share of scooters, motorcycles and mopeds expected going ahead?
See, I'll give you Q3 and year to date. I assume this question is for domestic, right?
It's for domestic, but we have the historical number. We just wanted the outlook over the next year.
I'll give both. I'll first talk about TVS Motor and then talk about the industry, what is likely to be and what we are expecting. Actually, if you look at Q3 domestic sales, we have grown by 18.8% compared to the industry growth of 8.5%. If you look at in this, scooters, that was your specific question, we have grown almost 32% compared to industry growth of 4%. And year to date, if you look at it, overall domestic, we have grown 12.7% compared to 9.5% of the industry growth. And year to date, if you look at scooters, we have grown 20% when the market has grown 6%. Now, this year, after a long time, if you look at it, because of two important actions. One, a significant price reduction in the commuter motorcycles by competition, and some slowdown in the urban. We have seen scooter category coming down. Actually, the scooter category year to date has come down from 33% to 33.7% to 32.2%. However, if you look at in a longer term, along with more and more urbanization, I think scooters as a category will grow faster in the industry. So there is an aberration. It's primarily because of certain competitive action which is taken and also a little bit of slowness in the urban industry.
And the share of mopeds, how would that figure over the next couple of years? How are you seeing that?
See, moped as a category, it is more looking at bottom of pyramid. It is more for the utility purposes. Even moped had some headwinds in the first quarter when some of our competitors significantly priced motorcycles close to or below the moped prices. However, if you look at the last 2 quarters, we have started growing. We may not see a significant change in the category share. We may not lose heavily, but we may not gain heavily because this is purely focused on the set of customers who are bottom of the pyramid for a very clear application of utility.
Sure. And what happens in terms of regulations? Moped will require CBS and fuel injection.
Already moped, we have changed over to CBS and we have already started supplying. So we have got SBT, not CBS, SBT. We call it as SBT technology. We have already started supplying SBT technology moped. We are already supplying electric start moped. So moped will comply to all the norms, and TVS is a very responsible company. Will be much and well ahead of whatever regulations or changes with respect to safety, environment.
Okay, so my question is more on just how this mix really plays out in your margin, because we understand that moped would have a lower gross margin, but because there's really no ad spends that you need to do on the moped, the EBITDA margin is higher. So is that a safe assumption? How do we see mix affecting our margin?
We normally don't give individual product-wise or brand-wise. I think the success of TVS Motor is we have the best range for all the customers. And our effort is to make sure that our Apache sells well, Jupiter sells well, Ntorq takes off very well, Radeon takes off very well. In the international market, we look at, again, Apache, again, we look at HLX. So leverage the portfolio, overall grow the market, grow ahead of the market, both in domestic and international, and establish and make the brands mega. That is going to be our strategy.
Sure. If I can just try my luck on one last question. We used to have a double-digit margin target, which was your stated guidance of Q4 FY18, and then you're not really giving a timeline of when you want to achieve it. Can you mention what kind of timeline you're looking at? Is it next, 1 year, 2 years? How do we see that number?
We are serious about improving our EBITDA margins. We don't want to give any special guidance on the timeline. If you look at this quarter also, cumulatively, if you look at this year, the EBITDA margins have grown 28%, while to 1,125 crores, as against last year's 880 crores. And like I said, better products mix, lot of initiatives we have taken on material cost reduction, scale benefits, very systematic internal efficiency improvement programs. We are very confident that EBITDA will continuously and consistently grow in the coming quarters.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Thank you. Next question is from the line of Amin Pirani from Deutsche Bank. Please go ahead.
Yes, hi sir. Thanks for the opportunity. So my first question is more of a clarification. So as far as CBS and ABS is concerned, is it now 100% clear whether the 31st March date is for manufacturing or for selling? Because like in the case of BS3, BS4, there seems to be some confusion.
As per the government notification, it is manufacturing from 1st of April 2019.
Okay. So, but the dealers can continue selling.
However, everybody is preparing themselves to change over because the volume has to be covered into the market.
Okay. Thanks for that. Secondly, I just want to check what is the share of financing now in your overall portfolio and how much of that is being done by TVS Credit?
Overall, it's around 50% is funded by retail funding.
Okay.
And TVS Credit caters 52% of that.
52% of that?
Yes.
Okay. And this 50%, what would have this been, say, in the first 9 months of last year? Like, it seems to have increased significantly this year.
3 to 4% increase is there. Last year was about 43. This year, if you look at year to date, it's about 46. Okay. So there is a 3% increase in terms of the retail finance penetration.
Okay. And sir, one question on your other expenses. This year, if I look at, compare 9 month over 9 month, the growth in other expenses is, barely 2 to 3% on a YOY basis. So, any specific cost line where you have been controlling or could there be a timing issue of certain expenses they could flow into 4Q? Can you just help us understand on that?
This is for this quarter you are asking, or...
I'm saying 9 month to 9 month because, there can be quarterly, changes in cost items based on festive. But
last year we had this, the freight expenses, which was shown as another expenses. Due to India's implementation, the other expenses is now being netted against the revenue. Therefore, to that extent, they are not comparable.
Okay. Understood. So then your EBITDA margin also mathematically would have gone up, you're saying, basically, if you compare...
Marginally, yes.
Okay. Fair enough, sir. That's all from my side. I'll come back in the queue.
Thank you. Next question is from the line of Raghunandan from MK Global. Please go ahead.
Thank you for the opportunity, sir. Congratulations on good numbers. First question was on mopeds. The pickup in growth for mopeds, partly there was this government subsidy which supported the volumes. How big was this subsidy-related orders which came in, like states of Telangana? So if you can, elaborate on that, that will be helpful.
The institutional orders keep coming. Every year something will be there as a part of the institutional order. This year also we have got. So that is part of the business.
And so on the export three-wheeler side, any impact you are seeing because of Egypt? How big is Egypt in our overall exports?
Egypt, we are changing there is a change in the distribution. So there is a bit of last year to this year. Now we will start seeing Egypt exports on three-wheeler. Definitely you will see that very shortly.
I mean, has there been any, Egyptian government was thinking of stopping licenses for three-wheelers. Has that happened?
No, I don't think I have heard anything such like that. Egypt is a very important market, very big market, and the industry is doing extremely well on three-wheeler in Egypt market.
Sir, any thoughts on what are the new products to be launched ahead, or would it be post the BS6 transition?
See, new product as a part of our journey is a very, very important ingredient for growth. Along with the new product, we should also give products which are, for example, Jupiter Grande, whatever we have given into the market, the new Star City, the new Sport, they are very, very important. So this is the journey which we have to continue, and that journey we will continue even for 2019-20, while all of us are working for BS6 transition.
Understood. And so, like on the export, can you share the absolute number for the quarter?
Absolute number for the quarter is you are asking for the sales number. Are you asking the sales numbers for
sales
export?
Number, sir. Sales number. Revenue number.
Then come back. I'll come back to you because what I have 1,41,000 for Q3.
No. Sir, I was asking for the revenue number, sir.
You are asking for the revenue?
Yes, sir.
Revenue 1,056 crores.
Got it, sir. Thank you. And so, just one last query. On the cost reduction side, any updates you can share in terms of your efforts on localization, vendor cost rationalization, value addition, value engineering initiatives, how these are likely to pan out, and what kind of a benefit can these measures contribute in the coming quarters?
All these are initiatives we are pursuing, and we are seeing very good improvement in terms of, I may not be able to give you a breakup. However, overall, if you look at it, the fixed cost, we were planning to reduce it this year. So far, we have cut down by almost 0.7%, 0.8%.
0.8%, sir? Got it. So, just one last thing on TVS Credit Services. Can you share the book value and the profit performance for the YTD period?
Yeah, the book size is now close to 8,000 crores. And the profit YTD is 141 crores.
How much, sir?
141 crores. PBT?
141 crores. Got it, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. That's all from my side.
Thank you.
Thank you. We take the next question from the line of Basudev Banerjee from Apple Capital. Please go ahead.
Yeah, congrats, sir, for a good set of numbers. A few questions. One, if I see over last 3 years, your raw mat to sales reported has moved up from 71% levels to now 76% levels. So in a period where you came out with all the fantastic new models or refreshes, say Apache and Jupiter and Ntorq, and the rise in exports, your raw mat to sales increased by almost 500 basis points, acting as a hurdle to double-digit margin. So now, after many years where steel prices have started correcting a bit, so how do you see the steel price contracts for you down the line, and how do you see that boosting your margin?
One is, if you restate the Ind AS related requirement of the freight outwards, the revised material cost for the last Q3 is to be read as 74%, and it has gone up to 75.8%. So it's only 1.8% increase over the last reported number, mainly because of customs duty increase, where the duties were increased by almost from 7.5 to 15% in some of the items we import. That has impacted us close to 0.5%. And the material cost increase itself is around 1%. So these are the two main contributories for the increased material costs reported during this quarter.
So now, how do you see your steel contracts down the line at a reduced level when it will get reflected?
Material costs are likely to either be flat or likely to come down in the future quarters. However, based on the agreements what we have with the suppliers, there could be a lag of 1 quarter. So that you will start seeing in the next financial year.
Sure, that's great. Second thing, sir, like what's the update on you must be working in advance for BS6 upgradation. So what's the outlook on cost escalation required for the entry and executive level bikes in your portfolio, like Sports, City, Radeon, etc.?
As of now, the proving is going on. I think very closer to the introduction of the product, I'll be able to share exactly what is the cost escalation and what is going to be our strategy.
Sure. And last question, sir. Your investment in the real estate business, so what's the mid-year update or year-to-date update on that business? How much is the profitability, etc.?
No, there's no fresh investment made during this year. And the investment now stands at 111 crores. And the performance update can be given only along with the annual accounts. The projects are doing very well and very well received in the market. That's the update which I can give. On the financial performance, it can be shared along with the annual numbers.
Sure. And in the initial part of the call, am I right? You said that year-to-date blended price hike in domestic portfolio is 0.9%?
Yes. I think it is 0.9%.
Year-to-date.
Yes.
And that includes the partial cost increases for ABS, whatever you have implemented so far?
No, this is all related to material cost increases, whatever we have seen up to Q3.
Okay. Thanks. That's all from my side.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next question is from the line of Gunjan Pratyani from JP Morgan. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi sir. Thanks for taking my questions. Most of my questions have been answered. I just wanted your thoughts on both the regulation changes that we are seeing this year, both safety as well as the BS6. It's difficult for you to quantify the impact in terms of cost right now, but we did see that insurance cost led to some demand moderation in the market or down trading. So how do you think the next couple of quarters pan out? Because you will definitely see in second half the BS6 products coming through, right? So how are we approaching the markets? Does the cost completely get passed through?
See, first, insurance change was overnight, and the impact in the market on-road prices was something like 10 to 11% in the computer entry segment and up to 7-8% in premium segment. With respect to this safety regulations and changeover, if you look at it, most of the products we have changed over to the synchronized braking technology. And whatever price increases we have done so far, it includes all the impact related to that. And we are not seeing any reduction in the demand due to that. And with respect to Apache, if you look at it, ABS is a very, very preferred, high-end feature, which Apache type of customers likes it. Okay, so this is unlikely to create any challenge in terms of the demand. Now, with respect to BS6, we are all trying to prove the technology, and when we are closer to launch, we will come back with a strategy. I think there is cost impact, but the challenge is how do we make sure that we manage both the demand as well as changeover as a responsible company to BS6. I'm very sure the retail finance will play an important role in terms of penetration in the BS6 changeover.
And when do we really see the BS6 products coming on stream? Do you think September, October we should have the model launches come through?
I don't want to give a guideline, but we are definitely looking at next financial year the transition because April 2020 is the D-Day. Much before that we will be ready.
Okay, and anything you can share on, is it going to be higher in terms of cost implications that we saw during insurance? Any percentages that you can share based on your internal?
Too early to give any guesstimate at this point of time. We are working on the changeover, proving the technology and putting into the market. So closer to the launch time, we will share how we are planning to look at this transition.
Okay. And just capex guidance if you can give for this year and next.
This year will be about 700 crores.
And next year, any numbers you want to share?
Too early. We are in the process of preparing the capex plan for next year.
Okay. Got it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Next question is from the line of Prateek Rangnekar from Credit Suisse. Please go ahead.
Yeah, good afternoon, sir. This is Jatin. Just a couple of clarifications. So one...
Sir, this is the operator. I'm sorry to interrupt. May I please request you to use the handset mode as we are unable to hear you?
Hello, is this better?
Yeah, this is much better, much better.
Yeah, good afternoon, sir. This is Jatin from Credit Suisse. Couple of clarifications. One, have you taken any price hike in 4Q at the start of Jan?
We have. I think in certain products we have taken up a small price increase.
That would be like 0.5%?
I think about 300 rupees average.
Okay.
We have taken up in Apache, Victor, Radeon. I think these are the products we have taken up, and in electric start moped.
Okay. So another clarification was on this Singapore investment. Will the investments in the startup space limited to the auto segment, or will this be kind of broad-based?
It will be related to the industry.
Okay. And there was an article in the Economic Times recently about the promoter group putting a royalty on all the companies. So just wanted to check if you have heard anything on that from the promoter group side.
We do not comment on speculation.
Okay. Thanks, sir.
Thank you. We take the next question from the line of Chirag Shah from Edelweiss. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thanks for the opportunity. Just a question on electric two-wheeler. Anything that you would like to share?
We are investing, and we are definitely doing the product with electric. We will see our products during next financial year.
The next financial year.
Yeah.
This is helpful. The second question was on the export side. So two questions over there. One is what kind of price hikes have you taken in export markets, if any? And second is, are there any pockets which are showing any concerns on demand on the export market? Any geographies?
Exports this year is stable, and early part of this year we took some small price increases in certain markets, in certain brands. That is a regular exercise because we keep looking at which market, what kind of competitive pricing and what opportunities we have on increasing the price based on the demand and the volume. So that is a regular exercise. In terms of overall growth, I think most of the markets are doing well. And we are confident that the same will continue because two positive things in addition to stable oil prices is the currencies are stable in these markets. That's also helping us, and the availability of dollars is also much better this year.
Okay, sir. So this is really helpful and all the best.
Yeah, this will definitely help next financial year also.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next question is from the line of Ronak Sarda from Systematic Shares. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi, sir. A couple of follow-ups. So, with the BS6 transition, the earlier, the industry thought process was there might be a strong pre-buying given the sharp price increases. Given the current demand environment, are we, is that the case right for the thought process right now, or we do not expect any major pre-buying happening?
We can't comment on that, but we have sufficient capacities and supply chain readiness is also there. So month after month we keep looking at how the volumes are going to pan out, and we keep our 4 to 5 weeks as the stock level with the dealers. Based on that, we take the call on supply chain and leveraging our capacity to deliver. So that I don't see as a challenge.
Okay, my question was not on the capacity side, but on the marketing strategy side. Are we pushing, sales before the BS6 cost increase happen, or that is not the case as of today?
I think too early because now everybody is trying to prove the BS6 technology and coming into the market. So once the product starts coming into the market, at that time we will have to very clearly study what should be the strategy. But according to me, we don't have definitely capacity constraints for keeping, if such a scenario happens, to fulfill the market requirement.
Sure, sir. Sure. And the second question was again a follow-up on this royalty bit from the promoter side on TVS Group companies. I mean, it would be a good platform to squash the rumors if that is the case. Or because I
very clearly said we do not comment on speculations. I clearly said, I repeat again, we do not comment on speculations.
Sure, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Next question is from the line of Arya Sen from Jefferies. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi. Good afternoon, sir. I just wanted to go back to the point you made on financing. You talked about 50% retail finance and 52% TVS credit. And if I look at last quarter, that was about 46%. So, and I just wanted to tie it back with the comment you made on liquidity and retail financing being an issue for demand in 3Q. So, I mean, how do I, because your share of financing seems to have gone up, even for overall financing.
I think overall there is a growth of about 4% in terms of retail finance penetration. And in terms of TVS credit, I think it is around 52%, marginally gone up from last year. Similar period, maybe 50%, this year is 52%. So but that is not a significant change, but 3 to 4% retail finance penetration is possible.
Right.
And for industry also, this should be similar is my view.
Right. And is it fair to assume that TVS credit share has gone up because, you had to sort of bridge the gap and others were facing issues? Is that a fair assumption?
It's not a significant change. If 50 has gone to 52, it's only a marginal, It's a small number.
Right. Right, and
more from the preference of the customer side, because each of the customers prefer they have certain comfort factors with certain financiers, so we also look into that.
Fair enough. And also on the capex side,
we also work with very closely with many banks. Also, we work.
Sure.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, and also on the capex side, you talked about 700 crores this year. How much has already been done, and how much of that would be linked to BS6 and ABS, CBS? And
about 500 crores we would have done, and it is a combination of technology, BS6, new products. It's all related to all capex related to all kinds of investments which are likely to get benefit for the future.
Sure. And lastly, when you talked about, on the electric side, product by next fiscal, is that both on two-wheelers and three-wheelers?
Too early to comment, but, we have a very good range and we continue to invest behind the range. Closer to launch, I'll give you more details of which models and what we are planning to do.
Okay, that's all from my side. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Next question is from the line of Jinesh Gandhi from Motilal Oswal Asset Management. Please go ahead.
Hi, sir. I'm Jinesh from Motilal Oswal Securities. My question pertains to, first is, for FY20, are we looking at double-digit growth, or given the headwinds which are there, we should be in mid-single digit?
I think the process of looking at the industry and calculating that is going on. At this point of time, it will be a very early guess. But I'm confident that when we look at a long-term situation, Q3 we had a lot of challenges. Q4 we are likely to see a little bit of ease out in terms of overall growth. We will get back to you once the estimates are ready for next year, both industry and what we are looking at as our strategy.
Sure. Second question.
But there is mobility need. I can tell you two-wheelers in India, there is definitely mobility needs. It's a very, very important category connecting for all the type of consumers, both rural and urban. So two-wheelers will continue to grow is definitely my take.
Sure, I understand that. Secondly, for Radeon, we have been doing about 12,000 a month currently. So what are the ramp-up schedule there, and what kind of volumes are we targeting for Radeon?
We are planning this month. You will see at 20,000, and we are closely watching the demand. And we will today capacity addition is not a big problem at all because we have good supply chain and we have in-house capability. So we will constantly review that and keep building the production capacity for Radeon.
Okay. And similarly for Ntorq, are we fully ramped up now, or there is
Ntorq, we are close to now 25,000. We are building capacity there also, and we are confident that we'll be able to meet up the demand. The good news is both Radeon and Ntorq are bringing new customers. Overall, there is a good growth ahead of the market, both in commuter category as well as in scooter category.
Okay. Third is with respect to CAPEX, which you mentioned, 700 crores. Does this also include investment in subsidiaries as well, or that's over and above this?
No, it's only a CAPEX. That doesn't include the investment in subsidiaries.
Okay, and investments would be what, about 200 crores all put together?
It will be around 200 crores.
Okay. And so last question on from demand side, in this quarter, what was the trend on variable marketing spend in 3Q vis-a-vis second quarter? Had we seen substantial increase or it was broadly stable?
Q3 we all anticipated a good growth in the market. So we had invested both in ATL and BTL. And this insurance hike was sudden, and that created a huge challenge in the market. Fortunately, we have invested behind only brands, and this investment will not be wasted because anything you do on the building the brand will always help us.
Right. But direct discounts in that way, they did discounts?
We have not participated in discounts like our competition. Some of our competition has done.
Okay, and from that perspective, variable marketing spend would normalize in fourth quarter considering improvement in demand which we see.
We are focusing on growing better than the industry. We will definitely invest behind brands like Radeon, Ntorq, Jupiter, Apache. That will consistently do well because these are brands which we want to grow further going forward.
Understood. Great, sir. Thanks and all the best.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next question is from the line of Shyam Sundar Sriram from Sundaram Mutual Fund. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi sir, and thanks a lot for the opportunity again, sir. Sir, we introduced this new Ntorq, which was a completely new white space in the scooters for us. Similar to that in our product pipeline, are you seeing more white spaces there? And if you can slightly elaborate on what kind of which segments are we looking at? Maybe in the executive, maybe in the premium. Any color on where do you see some white spaces? Thank you.
This is an exercise we have to constantly look at it because if we have to grow ahead of the industry, we have to constantly look at these spaces. See, when the scooters were growing, we found that there are a set of Jupiter customers or Scooty customers. They want to upgrade to the next level, especially in urban, and they want something really stylish. They want something which is a little better power and which is connected. In today's youngsters want connected. So this was the kind of thought process when we launched Ntorq. Similarly, when we look at Radeon, this is for a new category of customers because we have sport, we have city, we have Victor. So each one is positioned looking at the type of customer. So this is a regular journey. We have to constantly assist. We have to be close to the market. We have to look at how the customer usage trends are changing, and we have to constantly be at it.
Okay, sir. Thank you. That's it from my side.
Thank you. Next question is from the line of Nitesh Jain from Birla Mutual Fund. Please go ahead.
Hi, sir. Good afternoon. Just one small clarification. Did I hear you correctly? You mentioned that you will be doing around 20,000 units of Radeon this month. Did you mention that? Or?
Close to that.
Okay. And in terms of the scooter demand, the Ntorq, So are you facing the capacity constraint or can this number 25,000 units, is it because of the capacity that you don't have or the back end? Or
the capacity, we always keep the demand little ahead of capacity. And capacity today, thanks to our supply chain and in-house speed, it's not a big issue at all because within 2 months' time we are able to move up the capacity. So we constantly review the capacity vis-a-vis the demand in the market, and we keep looking at what needs to be done. And thanks to our suppliers and overall the speed of changeover, I think we are able to meet up the demand.
All right. So essentially, basically, both the Radeon, the entry-level bike, as well as the NTORQ, which is a premium scooter, they are doing very well for you.
Yeah. I think both the models are doing very well.
All right, sir. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Can we have this as the last question now?
Sure. So we take the next question as the last question from Nishan Vaz from ICICI Securities. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi sir. Thank you for the opportunity and congratulations for a good number. So my first question is again continuing on the NTORQ side, on the new products. Sir, obviously it's been some time that the product has been launched. Could you throw some light on the customer profiling for the NTORQ, as in split between, say, the first-time buyers or the urban and the rural split? Like who are the buyers who are coming for NTORQ from? Is it from the market leader? Just some thoughts on that would be really helpful.
It is the NTORQ. This is for people who are young at heart. I am using the word young at heart because while this is a product which is very aspirational, because there is a Jupiter kind of a product is very good and it is a scooter for common use and this one. Whereas NTORQ has got certain special styling, it has got certain power, and it is more focused on people who are young at heart, young at mind, not necessarily only young people in the age group. So definitely we are seeing the response from most of the customers in that category buying more and more NTORQ.
So, sir, would it be fair to assume that you must be seeing a lot of customers who would probably not have been buying a Jupiter prior to launching this product? Are you seeing a completely different class of customer walking into the dealerships?
We don't look at it that way. We look at, we have Jupiter, we have NTORQ. Are we growing together the overall volume of scooters? Are we growing ahead of the industry? That is the way we look at it. Okay, there may be customers who may be upgrading from Jupiter. There may be new customers who are coming into the portfolio. Put together, if you look at it this year, the scooter category has grown about 6% and we have grown about 20%.
Exactly.
And the good thing is Jupiter has also grown ahead of the industry. So overall, both the Jupiter is doing well, NTORQ is also doing well.
So my last question again, sorry, on the channel side, because we have seen a significant increase in market share on the scooter side over the last few years with the successful product introduction, have you seen any meaningful change in terms of the conversions that have happened on this side of the business?
Conversion in the sense I didn't understand.
As in the walk-ins to purchase kind of a ratio that a lot of OEMs track, dealer conversion.
This is a regular exercise. We need to look at prospecting. What is most important is we have to keep building the brand. We have to keep communicating the goodness of our product range and keep highlighting. And as you know, last 4 years, company has been successful in the JD Power. So it's a combination of many things. Whatever we have done is benefiting the company today.
Sir, my last question is more like a data housekeeping question. Can you highlight the network data right now and what are your plans on expansion on the network side?
Network, one second. Network, we are about 4,800 total network.
Okay. And
thank you everyone. And as I said, I think we are expecting Q4 to be better than Q3 for the industry. And with the kind of product range what we have, both in domestic as well as in international, we will continue to grow ahead of the industry. And our target and goal is to consistently go over EBITDA with the kind of product range, the initiatives, whatever we have taken on cost reduction. Thank you.
So Mr. Vaz, does that answer your question?
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, that was the last question for today. I would now like to hand the conference over to Mr. Annamalai Jayaraj for his closing comments.
Thank you, everyone. On behalf of B&K Securities, I would like to thank Mr. Radhakrishnan and Mr. Gopal Desian for taking time out for the call. We also thank TVS Motors management for providing us the opportunity to host the call. Have a good day.